Hello everyone and welcome to another Suncat Byte. During today's Suncat Byte, we're going to talk about other people's files and specifically looking at text files, reading text files in, or looking at text files, parsing the text files and reading the data into arrays. So we have two examples here. One is an earthquake.2.csv, the other one is a leg x and y.csv. So in the cases of case of Visual Studio, and when you're using text files, as you already know from our ifstream OFstream lecture, the text files are going to live in the same directory as your source code. So we have our driver.cpp, function.cpp here. The first file we're going to be looking at is going to be this earthquake2.csv. So we're going to look at this with Notepad, comma separated variable file. So it basically means that commas separate the rows. So in this case, we have date, time, magnitude, depth, and region. So date time is here, magnitude there, depth there, the 16, and region here, Central California. So as we look at this data, what we're going to do is we're going to open the file. So you have to have this ifstream object. Then you use the open function there to open the file. In this case, it's GN file, which is earthquake2.csv. If you're not able to open it, then this will take care of that. Here, now we're going to actually start looking at the file and reading stuff in. So here we have string temp, which is just a temporary variable that we'll use to basically read data into that we're not actually going to read into arrays. So we're going to say getLine input temp. So we open this file, we're sitting at the first line. This getLine is going to take this whole line from input, which is associated with this file, and read it to the temp variable or write it to the temp variable. So now we've essentially burnt this line. Next thing we're going to do is set a counter equal to 0 right there, and we're going to say while not at the end of the file, and remember we're still here at this first line, start parsing through it. So we have three strings, S1, S2, and S3, that we're going to use to do this. The first one, S1, is used with this getLine statement. So getLine input again from the file to S1, read into S1 until you see this character, this comma. So in this case, it's going to come in and it's going to say until we see the comma right there. So it's going to read Wednesday in to S1. Now we've read to the comma, so we actually, the way the function works is that it gets everything up to there. So now we're actually sitting past the comma, and we're going to do the same thing with S2. So this line is going to say read into S2 until you see a comma. So now everything here for April 13th is going to go into S2. And then we do a concatenation using strings. So S1 is going to equal S1 plus S2. So now S1 has Wednesday, April 13th without the comma in it. Next thing is we're going to do getLine input S3 to a comma. So that's going to take all of this, read it into S3. Then we do the concatenation. S1 equals S1 plus S3. So now we have our whole date right there inside of the string S1 with no commas. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're going to say char C. This is going to be basically a temporary char that we use to read in commas or to look past commas. So now, since we're sitting here, we're going to say input mag I, and in this case I is 0, so our first element in our array is going to get 1.6 for mag. That's what that's going to do. Then we're going to say, okay, I have a comma, let's just read it into the C character. So that's going to get rid of this guy, put it into C. I don't need to do anything with it, it's just a way for me to get past it. Then I do care about this. This is my depth, so that's going to go into depth 0. Remember, first time through. So that's what this is doing here. Then burn the next comma. Done right there. Comma burnt. Now I want to do a getLine input region. So I'm going to get the rest of the line basically. So here I have a string, and the region is going to get read into there. So now mag 0, depth 0, and region 0 have this first line of data, right? Mag, region, depth. Then I do an increment, and I come up here, I check my condition. Am I at the end of my file? I'm not, I'm actually sitting here. So then I just do the same thing again. So as we go, we will have what are called parallel arrays. Everything with the index of 0 will have this data that's associated to each other in the arrays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And that's going to go all the way to the end of the file. Okay, so, and then the only other thing we do here is we keep a total of how many things we've read in at the end. Now, that's that piece of data. And notice that loops until we see the end of file. The other thing we can do, and in this case, that we're going to look at leg x and y and the other function that we have here. So if we look at that, we've got 2 lines at the top, and then we have a bunch of data. First thing is going to be the time it took, and this is to throw a kick. It's how long it took to throw a kick, and then the coordinates of the hip, x and y coordinates of the hip, x and y coordinates of the knee, x and y coordinates of the ankle. So that's what all of this is. Time, and then hip x, hip y, knee x, knee y, ankle x, ankle y. So looking at this one, this Nitra file is going to be leg x and y.csv. Okay, we're going to create a temp variable, and we're going to do 2 get lines immediately. That's to get rid of these 2 header columns that we aren't going to do anything with. We're don't care about that. It's not the actual data. And now, but it does tell us, we know the order to read things in. So here, what we're essentially going to do is just populate our parallel arrays. And the key difference here is we know that there's 48 lines, so we're going to loop 48 times. Instead of doing the end of file, we can just loop the 48 times for the 48 lines in this file. So we've burnt our first two. We're going to come in, we're going to read in our time. That's this guy. Then we're going to burn a comma. Boom. Then we're going to read in our hip right there. This line. Then we're going to burn a comma there. And then we're going to read in our y coordinate, which would be the third one there. And we're going to burn a comma. And we're just going to do that for each line. This data is nice and clean, right? Just comma separated. We know we care about all the data. So that's it. Once that's done, we have parallel arrays. 0 element again will correspond to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on in each array. If you have any further questions about this, please let me know on the discussion board forum. Jump on office hours during our individual session. You can also ask me or shoot me an email. Until then, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.